All right, everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today, we're going to be doing a sort of reaction discussion video that was suggested by one of you guys in the Discord community. So if you want to be able to suggest videos and discuss different topics with other like-minded individuals about DVD, books, novels, I mean, kind of around the same thing, TV shows, and other games like that, go ahead and join with the link in the description. Just accept the rules. But with that being said, appreciate you guys suggesting this. This video is from Jin, and it is titled "Odds is Right, That's the Problem." So we're just gonna go ahead and get into it. The original video is linked in the description, and we're gonna be talking specific talking points, so you can watch the full thing on your own. Okay.
People argued and argued in the comment section, and we ended up at 236 comments so far. A chunk of them were genuinely upset for a perk I didn't even choose, in a mode where perks are just completely random. One guy said killers should just face walls instead of running Lightborn. Another said they DC every time they see it. Not as a joke, they just leave the game. And it's
that mentality right there is one of the biggest problems I have with the, with the overarching. I think it just kind of reflects like a big issue within the DVD community. Because for some reason we have players that will, for whatever reason, say that certain perks should just not be used for some reason. And at the end of the day, it's like you bought the game, you get your perks. Use whatever the hell you want. Like, you know what I mean? Now, the thing with Lightborn, right? It's so inoffensive as well. Like, Lightborn is such an inoffensive perk, to be honest. Like, there's so many other perks that you can really, be up in arms about in this game. Lightborn is such a nothing burger, and I've spoken about this before because some people even wanted Lightborn to be nerfed for some reason. And the biggest argument I've ever heard people say is, oh, you just can't use your item, so you had to remove it. And it's like, okay, but flashlights already are not the most useful items in the game. Maybe back then, right, in the old DBD, when you could use your flashlight to burn hag traps or burn wraith or burn nurse out of their power. Then I would understand, like, okay, well, Lightborn kind of loses a little bit of its effects. But keep in mind that these features are not in the game anymore. So flashlights already are extremely situational. Like the most that you're getting, and the most of the time that you see people use it, is what? They pre-drop a pallet and then try to blind you as you decide to break it. Like, that's about it. I mean, what more value are you going to really get out of that, right? Then the other alternative is you get down in the middle of the open and then hope and pray that they decide to not counter it. Keep in mind that you have to actually be good at actually timing it correctly. I wouldn't say it's the most difficult timing to learn, but it is a factor. Like, there's a lot of people that don't know how to time it correctly. And even so, say you're not even near the person who's getting downed. You're not using your flashlight. So at least to me, I really don't see why Lightborn is this crazy perk that a lot of people just have this crazy thing about, when it's like such a nothing burger. But that's a part of the overarching thing with the game. It's like there's at least within the community, there's just a lot of people up in arms about perks that, well, at least specific perks that just have no relevance to anything really. I mean, it's not like Lightborn is unbalanced. It's a perfectly good perk. It counters what it counters, and that's it. It just does its thing. You know what I mean? It's very simple perk. It says, hey, you won't be affected by blind effects. Boom, that's it. Doesn't really do anything else. You know what I mean? I mean, you get a little aura, you know what I mean, but depending on the character, may or may not be that useful. And what's even funnier is that they changed Shadowborn so you get haste when you get blinded, and for some reason nobody cares about that, right? So I'm just saying, it's a part of a bigger problem. But let's go ahead and try to at least see what the meat and potatoes of the video is today.
Official, but even the official stats are questionable. For example, if I use the free abandon feature as a killer at the end of the match when there's no survivors left and it's just bots, the survivors are then counted as escapes.
So what did I do? I press escape, and I abandon. Escape, 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 escape.
This right here is why I never use the abandon feature on killer, because of the fact that the data won't even reflect that you actually got these kills in the first place. This is actually a thing. This is a thing. So it'll even make your kill rate look worse. It won't track your kills, and probably it's directly affecting some of the kill rates. Potentially. Now, this is why I usually wait it out when I'm getting the hooks and everything, because I need to confirm that my stats go through. Because abandons do this.
Actually checked the day afterwards because I was curious on the website. You know what the website said? The website said Bill disconnected and everyone else escaped. So the website tracked this as 1 DC and 3 escapes.
And that's the sort of stats that behavior is bouncing around.
Otz talks about Vecna being counterable. Hold W, use sprint burst, keep your distance. And he's right. If you know what you're doing, Vecna is manageable. Strong, but not S tier. I've played a ton of Vecna, and it's been more of a struggle than my usual pick, which is Dracula. So I won't be playing Vecna much after another week or so. For now, I'm just playing with a shiny new toy.
They're not trying to torture you, they just want to play the new shiny toy.
But Vecna is sitting at about 55% kill rate right now. That's about 5 points above average. So either Otz is...
Well, we are saying 5 points above average. I do want to quickly mention that DBD is shooting for a 60%. So technically, according to DBD's the behavior sort of metric, a lot of killers are not actually reaching the correct amount that they're actually supposed to be shooting for. So I'm not entirely sure if that's also gonna affect any killers at all. Probably, maybe it won't. But yeah, I mean, if we're going off of that, then we're not looking too hot.
Wrong? Or most survivors aren't holding W. And I don't think Otz is wrong on this one. Here, I'll show you.
We noticed some survivors had trouble evading our newest killer's attacks. To help you out, we've put together some quick tips.
Behavior even put out a tutorial on how to counter him, and they really don't do this very often. I did a little digging, and I only found 2 other instances. One of them was the first Stranger Things chapter, and the other was the Xenomorph launch.
Keep in mind, right? Keep in mind, I actually covered that video previously. I never knew that they actually had only about 2 others that were actually created. And it's very strange, because if they were to actually do this for pretty much a lot of the killers that release, it might actually help with trying to inform more people onto how to actually play the game, instead of directly nerfing the characters immediately on release, because people don't know how to go against the character yet, don't know how to counter it yet, and then immediately want to call everything overpowered, and then they proceed to be heavily nerfed. So this is just a cycle that we end up kind of getting a lot of. Surprisingly, Vecna hasn't received any nerfs yet. So maybe it's fine. Maybe he finally will be able to not follow that same cycle, but we really don't know for sure.
And the same thing happens to Trickster. Competitively, he's mid at best. You make distance because he's slow. You break line of sight on his knives, you play the tall loops, but in the actual game, he's at 66% kill rate. Highest in the game. That's fascinating. So why does he have such a high kill rate? Well, it's become kind of a...
It's also very strange that, we notice that the kill rates, at least according to Nightlight, tend to fluctuate pretty heavily. And it really depends on the events. It really depends on just, for some reason, it just keeps on shifting, because a lot of characters, even when I covered Nightlight for a video, a lot of the characters were under the 50% mark. Now we're seeing Trickster is at 66. Now we're seeing that Onryo still staying at the 52. Now we're seeing Unknown is at 41. So So I mean, so it fluctuates a lot. It's very hard to even have any consistent data. It's very hard to even see, really anything. Which is really unfortunate because it would be nice to have reliable information, but we just simply don't have it.
Meme to give up against Trickster. People would rather check out than learn how to play against him.
Trickster takes the cake on my least favorite.
That's Latte on Twitch. She has roughly 3,100 hours in the game. I went against her team on Vecna a few days ago. They played really well, but what's really interesting to me is mid-match she started talking about Trickster, and listen to what she says.
Non-skill and annoying. I know. I just wonder, like, am I really that ass, or is Trickster really just fucking cringe to go against?
Well, to respond to what they are saying, I think that it is a little bit of a skill issue, which is what I usually default to a lot of the time when it comes down to understanding how to counter characters, because they like to say low skill toward the killer, like, oh, it just takes low skill to play the killer, and it's like, but you don't have any understanding or experience on playing the character, so how would you know that? Like, you don't have that information. And even if you attempted to do that, the characters that you're going to be facing, or rather the survivor players, are also going to be inexperienced because you are inexperienced with that side or with that character. So that's not always the best metric either. But yeah, it is a bit of a skill issue. It's not like that the Trickster is just this magical killer that can insta down you in seconds. Like, it just doesn't work that way. Like, you need to have aim, especially on Trickster. You have to land I think what is it, like 16 blades in a row basically to actually get a full health state. So it's like a lot of hits you have to land. So, and obviously even depending on maps and tiles, you're gonna have to somehow be able to learn to fit blades into different gaps to try to at least keep up the meter filling. And this is speaking for somebody who has attempted to learn Trickster, and I tried playing them on controller. So like, there is no accuracy with a thumbstick when using your blades. Very hard to use. But when you see it a really crazy Trickster, it's landing some great hits. So let's go ahead and continue.
It's like you can't really dodge. I don't know. I guess you play against him the same way you play against Huntress, which is like hug tight loops. Like short tight loops. But then it's like, I just get fucking double M1. That's the counter, is just get double M1.
She's not asking how.
But that's the thing right there. I mean, it's within the mentality. Like, if the entire counter is, right, because you're countering Huntress, right? She can't throw her hatchet. Same way that you counter the Trickster with the same thing. He can't use his power. Like, yeah, like their only thing they have left is their M1. So then I have to ask, like, like, what is the goal that you're trying to get out of that situation then? Because it's like, you're going to take an injury eventually, you're going to go down eventually, you're going to run out of pallets eventually, you're going to eventually end up on a hook at some point. Like, it's just how the game works. So like, by doing the same thing against Huntress against Trickster is quite literally how it goes. I mean, if you're forcing the killer rather, to have to M1, like, that's kind of meaning that you've kind of exhausted their options and they only have that choice to M1, and then from there it's going somewhere else. So I mean, like, the answer is like right there, you know what I mean, in that sense. And that I think is important to state within the community, and it's important to kind of show people that, like, it's okay to learn things, like, it's okay to be bad at things, it's okay to improve at things. Like, it should be normalized that we learn, we improve, we understand things better, because this game has so much information, so much nuance and things that you can learn. It's like, why not learn those things, at least to be able to play it better, or at least be able to enjoy the game further, because you're like, yo, I just learned this new thing and now it changes the way I play, or learned this new thing, changes the way I counter this, or hey, I learned this new thing, changes the way I use my power. Like, these are things that should be in the game. Like, I don't know why we don't have more of that, like, at least to me.
How to counter him. She's already decided there's nothing to learn. You can't really dodge.
It's like you can't really dodge.
The counter is just get double M1'd.
That's the counter, is just get double M1'd.
That is not ignorance from a lack of hours. That's just checking out. And then you've got Nurse, the killer everyone says breaks the game. The actual S tier. She's at 46% kill rate. which is below average. Now, does that mean Nurse is balanced? No, she's still the best killer in the game in the right hands. But she's hard to play. She's been around forever, and new players usually don't touch her. So the spreadsheet says she's fine. This is what Otz means when he says the game is balanced around ignorance.
This game should not be balanced around ignorance, and it is exactly what we have right now.
Thank you, Odds, for saying that. You know, I actually covered that video previously as well, so I can have both of those videos linked at the end. But in this particular, instance here, I have to agree with Odds. The game is really centered around the ignorance of the player. And it's been shown with a lot of updates we had recently. We've seen that with the increase in the palette density. We've seen that with the increase of like these sort of perk effects that have completely spread out and caused a lot of damage across the game. And it's very true. I mean, we've even seen stuff like Windows of Opportunity, one of the most highest picked perks in the game, I would say. Extremely like used to an insane amount, and you would think that it would receive some kind of change, but it really hasn't. But if there was a form of cooldown, right, like say you vault or place down a pallet and it deactivates for a bit, that would be nice, right? Because if a window of opportunity is by its definition, a moment where you can use something, right? That is in a literal definition, a window of opportunity is where an opening pops up and you can use that thing to then gain an advantage. So in a literal sense, it would make sense for you to be able to have it on cooldown afterwards, and then when it recharges, then you can use that a next window of opportunity to then extend the chase further, stuff like that. But that's specifically perk balancing, and can't say that we can cover that too heavily into this video specifically, because that's not what it's about. So let's go ahead and take a look here at another talking point.
So where does that leave us? I'm not sure Path B is coming. Well, not in one big patch, but I don't think that's completely hopeless either. Behavior sends out surveys constantly. They're deathly scared to make the wrong move. I mean, they've walked back entire patches from just community feedback, which means they're at least thinking about it. And we've seen them make small changes over time.
I do understand where Jin is coming from here. I think the biggest problem that I think a lot of players are having is the fact that it doesn't seem like they are trying to offer the correct changes, at least to them, that they think is the correct changes, that are bringing the most benefits and that are, actually providing a level of balance that, everybody could be happy with. And at least with the recent, sort of surveys up until recently, like with the survey that related to killers, a lot, there was at least 3 surveys in a row that only involved the survivor players. We've had patches that only revolved around these survivor players that were so heavily lopsided that it affected the killers very negatively, and it made the side basically arguably unplayable. So when you look at that from that standpoint, it's like, damn, it almost seems as if there really isn't really any effort going into the both ends. It just kind of seems like they're really hard focused on one. So that already is what's going to leave a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouths. And keeping that in mind as well, I mean, even the 2v8 we've had recently is it's not exactly the most fun experience for killer players. So because of that, a lot of people are a little bit hesitant and are probably not really expecting there to be really much hope left, or at least being able to believe that there really is a chance that the game could get better, at least from where Jin is standing from. I think it's a bit unlikely, because of just the mere fact that the casuals are going to inevitably provide more financial bonus than it would be for the veterans. So obviously when we're looking at it from a monetary standpoint, it would make more sense to focus on the casuals because they have way less purchased. They have a better chance of purchasing new chapters, which means more money up front. There will also be probably potentially some like plenty of new cosmetics that they can purchase again. You know, stuff like that. They in general are, and you know, even let's also keep in mind that that killer is definitely the more difficult side to play. So they're going to lean more heavily toward a more casual experience. So they're, and then of course Survivor has the opportunity to purchase probably double the cosmetics in less time. So I mean, there's a lot of factors that kind of go into play here that sort of lead to where we're at now. And in that perspective, I think that's why the game's kind of where it's at right now. But I will say, I want to hear what you guys think. Do you agree or disagree with the takes in the video? If you want to watch the original, it is in the description. Watch it on your own. I want to hear your thoughts on what we covered today. And consider hitting the like button and subscribing. If you really want to support the channel, you can become a member on YouTube or even Patreon to have access to exclusive perks and content, or even subbing on Twitch. I'll see you guys in the next one.